my crafty tribe. You've got the card girl. I wanted to come on and create a fun goodie thankful box and place card with you. My idea was to make this fun little goodie box. I put a little fluff in here, but we are going to put our place card inside. You can also fill it with a few little goodies, some little candies, little whatnots. And then when you have your celebration, everybody's over, you can set these at everybody's place setting. And then when they open their box, they can take out their place card. And, you know, maybe you have some guests that don't know each other. So it just kind of gives a little personal touch. So we're going to kind of do these in a couple of stages. First, we're going to do the inking of our turkey. Then we'll go into how I made the little goodie box. And then how we do our place card, and then we're going to go and put it all together and decorate it and make it look cutesy. So stay tuned for all our little steps, and with that, let's get started. And so what I'm going to start with is the inking of my turkey. So I do get asked a lot how I do my inking, so now I'm going to show you on maybe an image versus just the inkings edges of my paper. You could use your color pencils, you can use your alcohol markers, you choose what you like. And I just decided to go ahead and go with some oranges and some of the yellows and some browns. And I thought that made a pretty little turkey. So without further ado, let's start inking our turkey. We are going to get our turkey. And my turkey came from this, it's called the Tom Turkey to Stamp from the Stamps of Life. And it's got the stamps and the dies. So it comes with a shadow die and the detail die. I did not use the shadow die. I just cut mine out with this detail die. So once I cut it out, it looks like this. Use any turkey that you have. If you don't have a turkey, a really pretty just big pumpkin would look nice, or any kind of fall. Maybe you just have some pretty fall leaves. So you can make any cute little collage that you would like. So let's get a piece of scrap paper. Get our turkey. I also like to get a scrap piece of paper, and I am going to go in with my marigold. I'm going to use two different tones of orange, so a little bit lighter and a little bit darker. So I'm going to go in with my lighter tone of orange, which is marigold. Happens to be Stamps of Life. These are just the inks I happen to have. You can use any inks that you have. Get a little bit of ink, and I always dab it off a little, because we're going to start out a little bit with a light hand. And if you can see on here, I started and I went to just tad behind that second cut right there with that little light hue of orange. So if you see our turkey, when you cut it out, all these little pieces are kind of cut. So if you wanted a paper piece, you could. I'm going to take this little dauber that I have, and we are just going to, not hard, so we don't want to go hard. We're going to go just a nice, gentle swoop. Okay? And we're going to just do that lightly, slightly below that line. Okay? Hope you can see that. So I just went just a tad under that line. And now once I've done all of it, the light that I wanted, then I'm going to go in and I'm going to get another dab of it, and I'm going to go in a little bit darker on that edging. Okay, so we're going to go in and we're going to go ahead now and go a little bit darker. And I don't know if you can hear. You can almost hear me going where I'm getting a little bit more ink. See that? Okay. But I'm not going to go down to this cut here. I want to just kind of go right down in here. And there we got that. As light as you want, as dark as you want. It's going to be as vibrant or as subtle or muted as you would like. Then I'm going to come in with that darker orange, which is my sunset. And I'm going to take a dab of that. And that's where I'm just going to come in and get a little deeper, just the very tips. It kind of almost gives it an ombre effect. So you kind of got that deeper to a darker and then back into your light. See that? Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go in 3 different colors of yellow. I'm going to go with a lemonade, a banana, and a sunflower. So they're all 3 a little bit different shades. But we're going to start out with our lightest, which is our lemonade. I'm going to dab it off. And I want to come up all the way to this line here, this first little cut here. Okay, this is where I'll take in like a little piece of paper and I'll put it inside here like this to cover up the body. So I'm not getting my body yellow. And then I'll just kind of go in here and run this yellow up. Just like that. And if you get a little above that, it's no big deal. It's crafting. Okay. So here we go. Can you see that? Okay. And then we're going to come to this side and do the same thing. I'm going to come in with the banana. And on my banana, what I wanted to do is I'm going to go right here where that little stripe is. And I'm going to just see how they just bend. So wherever they naturally bend up is where I'm going to ink. So I'm just going to put some ink right at that bend. See that? Same thing over here. Don't be afraid to manipulate your paper a little bit. Let's go to the other side. You see how it kind of gave it a little bit of depth there. And now we're going to come in with our sunflower. So we're going to go under the wing, okay? And we're going to take that sunflower and I just swipe up. See that? Swipe, swipe, swipe. And that's the look it's going to give it. Almost kind of like a sunflower. So we're going to go under the wing on this side. And that's just going to give us a little bit of warmth and depth to that too. I'm going to take this cantaloupe color. I'm going to add a little ink to it, but I'm going to kind of take most of that off. And I'm just going to rub, because I just want it really faint. And I'm going to go right here where that orange was going to be slightly. Just kind of gently want to rub right there. Kind of where that light orange enters into that cream. Because I think I did not mention, but I did cut this turkey out in cream cardstock. Do you see right there where I added just that little bit? And it kind of just blended it in with that orange. Just kind of give it a little bit of a hue. We're going to now do his body. So now we're going to go in with our ginger snap, which is our lighter brown. So we're going to use ginger snap and we're going to use twig. So twig is our darker brown and we're going to go in with the lighter brown. If I bend this back, remember again, just gentle. Don't be afraid to manipulate that paper a little bit. Can you see that? And we're just going to go. And we're just going to get some ink on there. He's a little long, so we're going to go ahead and nip those off because we're not going to need those. There's those little feetsies. Now we're going to put this inside here, and we're going to just rub some ink inside his body. And now we're going to do the same thing to his face. So we're going to just lift this up. And we're going to swipe his face. And we're just adding a little bit of brown. It's nice to have that little bit of vanilla underneath so that his face is still highlighted a little bit. But we're just going to go just like that. See that? Okay, now we're going to come in here and we're going to do the inside of this wing. And I'm going to save this other little piece of his wing right here. You could do it brown too, but I think on this one I did it in orange. So that's going to give you pretty much the body of him. Oops, I can't forget his neck. Let's get him some color in that neck of his. Then we're going to go in with that darker twig, and this is where we're going to put a little bit of that depth in him. So we're going to get the top of his head, and we're going to kind of just go toward the edge. Not too far down, because you still want some of that ginger snap to show, or your lighter brown that you have. And then we're going to kind of go down the face a little bit. Then we are going to put this in, and we're going to get inside his little neck right here. And we're just going to pull that ink down. See that? Just pull that ink down. And then we're going to do the same thing over here to the side of his wings. Okay, let's get a little bit more twig. And we want to come in the inside. And here, I might go a little harder just to get it a little bit darker so you can see that definition in his arm. There, see that? Then you'll take that paper that you have, and then we're going to swipe into his body. And that's going to give you your turkey. Gobble, gobble, gobble. And then the next thing we're going to do is his hat. I just used a Sharpie. You could go in with ink, but because it's kind of small and it does have this little buckle right here, I wanted to go ahead and do that in gold. Can you see that here? Okay, so we're going to just take our Sharpie and we're going to ink it up. Just use our Sharpie to do some inking. And here I'm going to turn see my turkey right here? I'm going to turn that in and just lay it down just to make sure I don't get it on that orange. You could also just use the die and cut another piece out in black and just snip the pieces and paper piece. Okay, so there's our hat. And then I just happen to have this metallic gold marker pen. Use whatever you have. If you don't have gold, you can do any color that you want. Maybe you want to do it silver. I went in with my Spectrum Noir sparkle marker, but you can also, if you have Wink Stella, you can use it, and I added a little sparkle to it. Can you see that sparkle? So now that we've got his little face right there done, now we need to do his little beak. I took the beak, I lifted it up a little bit, got my little scrap paper, put it down with my banana, and I'm just going to wipe that little beak. Give it a little bit of yellow, and then I'm going to go in with my marigold just on my tip and give him a little bit of orange tip just to two-tone it up a little bit. And there you go. There you have his little beak. And then he does have his little gobble here that actually cuts out. So if you save it, you could ink it up red, or what I did, just cut me a little piece of cranberry red paper. So I'm going to turn my turkey over, and I am going to glue this on the back side of the turkey. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue on the corners here, and I'm going to put this down over my gobble. So when you turn it over, you'll be able to see it's red. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on his eyes, and this piece of his hat band pops out too. So we are going to make that black as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little piece of black. We're going to just put that down. And then I got a little bit bigger piece. Just kind of measure how long you want, because I want to do the inside of that buckle and the band of the hat. So this looks like it's going to fit right on there. Put a little glue on the edges. And that, my friends, is one of the easiest ways to kind of fill some of those spaces in. Got a little bit of glue, so just take your towel, dab it, and it picks it right up, and voila, it's gone, and there you go. And so on this one, I did add a little something on his little eyes. If you can see, they're raised. I have these little black rhinestone little things that I use for eyes sometimes, especially tiny ones. So I think we'll go ahead and put those on. So we're going to put a little dab of glue. I'm going to use my pickup tool. And let's turn these over. They're flat back. So now he's got some little rhinestone eyes. We will take some of that marigold, and if you just put your scrap paper in here, you can kind of just hit the ends of that last little stripe with your marigold. And that's how you do it in the orange. So that's going to be your turkey. So let's put him aside. We're going to create the box. 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Cut at 5.5. Okay, and that's going to give you 2 boxes. Then you're going to take that and you're going to take it into your scoreboard, and you're going to score at 1 inch down each side. Okay, I'm going to turn it. So each side you're going to score at 1 inch. And so then you're going to have all your score marks just like this. Okay, move your scoreboard away. And then you're going to fold up all of your score marks. Let's go ahead and fold them. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your short end here and you're going to fold it up to the score mark on the other side, right there to the edge. Okay, so once you fold it to the edge, then you're going to make a crease. So we're going to crease it. Okay, and we're going to turn it over. We're going to do the same thing to this side. We're going to take it over to this fold line, and then we are going to fold it. Let's crease it just like that. Okay, so then when you have it, now you're going to have your little gusset for your box right there. See that? You take your scissors, and all of the little squares that you see, we're going to cut them all the way up to the score line mark. So you're going to cut to the square. And I've got a line to follow, folks, and I still don't cut straight. Out of all the years I've been making cards, you'd think I could be a pro at cutting a straight line. And then you're going to take all your tabs, and you're going to fold them in. So then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your glue, or you're going to take your tape runner or your tear and tape, and you're going to put some glue on your tabs. Okay, and you're going to bring this up, and you're just going to glue this together. So just line up edge to edge. Okay. Line up edge to edge. Then you're going to do the same thing to the inside of these. So these are all folded into the box, your tabs, and you're going to put glue right there. Okay, and then this is going to glue inside the box. Line them up. And now you got the bottom of your box. Okay, now you've got the tabs here. Same thing. We're going to put some glue. And then we are going to line those up. And there is our box. And then it just closes, just like that. So what size is our box? So your box is 3.5 by 2 3/4, and it's 1 inch in depth. And then here we are going to decorate the box. So it's such a great project for all those scraps. So you're going to cut one at 3 3/8 by 2 5/8. Then you're going to cut two. That's going to fit along the long side of your box at 3 3/8 by 7/8, and you want two of these. And then the smaller on your sides, this is going to be 2 5/8 by 7/8, and you're going to need two of those. So if you want to take a minute, screenshot that, write it down. Those will be your measurements for the layers of your decorative box. So let's put this aside with our little turkey, and next we are going to make our little place card. This is the table place card die set from the Stamps of Life, and let's see, what does that measure? 3.5-ish to 2 inches. Okay, finished. You're just going to take this main die here, run it through the machine, and you're just going to fold it at the score. And then I ended up using this little scalloped edge to do my layering piece. I used this kind of leaf, these pine cones, and then these leaves. So this is the pattern scheme that I picked. So you're going to score that, cut your layering pieces. You're going to just cut you a sheet of paper. This is 4 inches. So you're going to want to cut a sheet of 4 inches, 3 3/8 of an inch. And then you're going to score it at 2 inches. Okay. This layering piece, 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. Okay. So once you get that all cut out, I did then go in with, these are the slimline border die sets, but I took this particular border and I cut it out with this pine cone just to kind of give it a little bit more decorative edge. And then I did do a layering piece in the inside as well. So I did cut out some of these leaves, and I did some of those in artichoke, like a dark green, and I got glitter on there. And then I also did it in a kiwi colored, and then I inked them all up in artichoke. And then I used this pumpkin here, and I cut that out in vanilla, and I inked it. And I did save one because I thought I would show you how I inked them so that you guys could see. I did use this pumpkin. This was another pumpkin that I just had in my stash, and I just cut it out in orange cardstock and gave it a stem. End up taking twig, and that's how I'm going to do my stem. And I just go at the edge of that stem, and I just push, and then I just swipe. And then that gives me like that darker to lighter edge on my stem. Then I'm going to go in with my marigold. I bend down my stem, and we are just going to ink. Go around the sides. Kind of come up a little bit. And then I'm going to fold each one of these down, and I'm going to do the edge of each one of these. Then I did go ahead and go in with that sunset, and I deepened at the top of that, bent that stem down again, and I just kind of hit a little harder to give it a little bit more depth. See that? On that top portion. That is how I did the pumpkins. And then I had a die that said thankful. I'm sure in your stash you probably have a thankful, grateful, blessed. So here was my little die. It just said thankful. I had the shadow die and the thanks. I cut out the shadow die in the cream and I inked it with the twig. And then I cut out my thankful in sunset cardstock. I just glued it onto my shadow, and that's what's going to give me my thankful. Let's move on to the fun part. Let's decorate it. Let's take our little box and let's take those sheets of paper that we cut, and all of my papers, and I went in with the twig and I did ink up all of my edges, okay? So we're going to take our glue. We're just going to glue all this down. If you decided to make one of these treat boxes, let me know in the comments what is your idea or ideas for them. Okay, now that gets us our box. Now we can add our Tom Turkey. So what I did with him is I wanted to go ahead and put my sign at an angle. Kind of wanted it to look like his little wing was holding it. So right here, we're going to take our snippy scissors and we're just going to snip that a little bit just so that his wing is free. Okay. And we're going to glue him on right there. I will avoid the inside of his wings just in case I wanted to tuck anything under him. Next, we're going to take those little pumpkins. We'll place our pumpkins down first. Put this one here on the side. And I'm going to take that little chunky squatty pumpkin. And I'm going to put it right there next to it. I had some little leaves that I just had some die cuts that I cut out. Whatever you have in your stash. We'll put one there. And then we'll just add some little glue here. And we're going to put one right there. A little bit of green there. And then the next thing we're going to do is we'll add that thankful. Because I didn't put any glue on his wing, I'm going to take that thankful. I'll just stick some glue. We're just going to put him down right in here like this. And we'll take just a little glue underneath and we'll tack that down. And that's got our box. Not too bad, huh? And it's so simple and cute. Fast and easy little treat box. You can just add your little treats in there. Next, let's move on over and go into our ice card. Had those leaves. So we are gonna, I just thought I would show you how I just glued them on. So I just take my leaves, dab some glue, and kind of gauge where I kind of want them to lie. And I'm going to get that pumpkin, just like that. Okay. And in that set, it also had this little bow. And I thought that was cute. And I cut it out in gold foil paper. And we're going to put that right there on our pumpkin. A lot of glue. Let's use our towel and dab it. It's all gone. Here, I put my daughter's name. It's just 4 letters. So if you obviously have a larger name, you may want to use a smaller font. The font that I used, this is like a 0.75 inch alpha die. So you might want to use a smaller die. Some people got beautiful handwriting and they can write, and that would look beautiful as well. And then when you open this up, I put that layering die, put another piece of sunflower down here, and I inked up the edges, and I showed you with that border die. And then with that, the Tom Turkey stamp, it had So Thankful for You. I just didn't ink up the U. I left that off and I just did so thankful for, and I stamped that on the inside. So my idea was when everybody's done eating, I thought it would be fun for everybody to put what they are thankful for. And I kind of thought in my mind, you know, of course we're all so thankful and grateful for our loved ones, for our families, for our friends, for our health, for the food we're eating. So those are all things that we are thankful for. But I want to think outside the box. Think of something other than those items, something else that you're thankful for. And I just think it'd be nice to think about it, you know, like maybe we're thankful that we have the ability to craft today. Don't think of that. We want to just let everybody know that we are so thankful for them, and I know that they do. So I thought that would be fun. And then, but you know, once everybody's done, maybe at dessert or something, we could all open up our cards and go around the table and read what we're thankful for. And I just thought that would be a fun activity to do. Just be engaged with one another, and I just thought it would be a lot of fun. And so if you didn't want to do something like that, here was another place card that I had made for something else, and I just did like a pumpkin, kind of the same thing. I just put a ribbon here, and then I just put the word enjoy. So maybe you want to make your treat box just a treat box with a little thank you card, enjoy, and inside, you know, write them a message. So there's just so many options that you can make and do with it. But that was kind of an idea that I had that I thought would be kind of fun to do for Thanksgiving and to kind of give it a little personal touch. So anyway, my friends, that is my make for today. I hope you liked it. And remember, a big thumbs up is greatly appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe because it does help my channel to grow. And until my next video, I will see you guys soon. Happy crafting. Bye.